Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa and the El Dorado Beach Club. And now, a special announcement from Grupo Lapa Lapa. I'll read from their website. Vista Grill on the beach is now known as El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club, under the same management, same wonderful service, same chef, and kitchen staff, offering a new and innovative menu by our local chef, Emilio Aramburo. El Dorado Restaurant features coastal Mexican cuisine to match the wonderful views of the Los Muertos Beach and Pacific Ocean. Come visit El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club for a day on the beach or a romantic evening to enjoy the sunset with your toes in the sand and a margarita in hand. And it goes on to read, on behalf of everyone working at Vista Grill, we thank you for your loyalty. Rest assured that our commitment to our clients remains our highest priority. All right, so at Lapa Lapa and El Dorado Beach Club, you can enjoy that same view of the Los Muertos Pier all day long for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to be changing up that intro to the show a little bit, aren't I? Well, nothing lasts forever. Now, I do wonder if we're going to be seeing the Vista Grill again. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll see it back up on the hill. We're just going to have to see. I will be asking, and I will be bringing you that news as soon as I know. Now, this week, I have a very special guest for you. Her name is Barbara Ann Renee, and Barbara Ann is from Santa Barbara, California. She's a single lady, and she's retired, and she's been living full-time in Puerto Vallarta for 3 years now. But before we get to her, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta this week. Did I say this week twice? August 16th, 2018. From the Puerto Vallarta Board of Tourism, we have this article, which sounds like good news for those of us who would like to see Puerto Vallarta preserved as a Mexican town. And the article reads, Puerto Vallarta's historical center declared a protected cultural heritage zone of the state of Jalisco. August 8th, 2018, Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta's historic center is now a protected cultural heritage of the Mexican state of Jalisco. The declaration was made by the state's Department of Culture on July 21st via the official Journal of Jalisco, and makes the center of the city a protected area with all the rights and privileges of a heritage protected by the state and federal laws. The recognition includes the areas from the beginning of the Malecon, where the oldest hotel in Puerto Vallarta, the Hotel Rosita, stands, and continues to the cobblestoned romantic zone and up to the historic Conchas neighborhoods. Each area is of special historical significance to Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, and Mexico, as well as the essence of the port city, which is in the midst of celebrating its centennial. According to the state of Jalisco, this proclamation is a step to further preserve the architectural elements of patrimonial value an image and essential characteristics of the typical town on the seashore, one of the unique qualities of Puerto Vallarta, known as the most Mexican beach destination. Puerto Vallarta's historic center is the heart of our city and a major attraction to our visitors, and like all World Heritage sites, it must be recognized as an irreplaceable part of our legacy, said Javier Aranda Pedrero, director of the Puerto Vallarta Tourism Board. We applaud the actions taken by Jalisco's Department of Culture and welcome everyone to enjoy this iconic part of the city. It goes on to read that the center of Puerto Vallarta is much loved by the people of Vallarta and appreciated by visitors as it retains authentic characteristics of a traditional Mexican town in its cobblestone streets and colonial architecture. Of particular interest is the Church of the Virgin of Guadalupe, the city's central plaza, Los Muertos Pier, and colonial homes that date back hundreds of years. Puerto Vallarta's historic center is a place full of life where neighbors coexist and mix with tourists who enjoy strolls along the boardwalk lined with sculptures, paintings, and other works of art. At dusk, the center is full of locals out for a stroll, heading for church services or dinner. Mixing with them, visitors can soak in the most beautiful sunsets on the Pacific, gaze at bobbing sailboats, and the emblematic Mar Galante pirate ship, and dig into roasted corn, mangoes with chili, cakes, tuba water, and many other appetizers and desserts. All these attractions are located on the boardwalk and neighborhooding downtown streets, which for many reasons already was, official proclamation or not, a cultural heritage jewel of Jalisco. Okay, so what do you guys think about that? You think that this is going to slow down all that building that they're doing on the south side, and they're actually starting to encroach into the downtown area as well? Well, time will tell. I think it was listener Ray DeCensi from Chicago who came on the show once and said, rightly so, that Puerto Vallarta is real Mexico. It's not a cookie-cutter, Americanized Mexico like you would find in, Cabo San Lucas and in Cancun. It's real Mexico. So, I really hope that this proclamation actually means something besides flowery rhetoric. I would really like to see at least the downtown area preserved. And when they do build, I just wish that it was more Mexican style, instead of all this modern stuff, just fancy stuff. To me, it doesn't sit right. All right, let's move on. The Hive Gallery is having an event on Friday, August 24th, and I just want to give you a heads up. Let me read from their flyer. It says, we invite you to an event of works in formats illustrative drawing. More than 30 local artists from Puerto Vallarta will be at the Hive in the 5th of December neighborhood at Calle San Salvador, number 370. Come and mingle with the artists with an evening of art, drinks, and catering by Allegora Food Collective. This exhibition of art is for the whole family. Drawing and illustration are a basic component for essential elaboration in a work of art. The reason for putting together the exhibition is to create the collective unification of sharing the work of each artist expressed in an illustrative idea. So, if you guys are in town on the 24th, it's Friday, it's a week from tomorrow, you need to go and you need to support these local artists and visit with Misael Lopez. If you haven't heard the conversation that I had with him, it was just a couple weeks ago, so go ahead and check that out. Misael and many of these artists are actually affiliated with the Adopt a Mural project, and I have a link to that in the show notes as well. And of course, I've got a link to this particular event. So check that out, and check out that episode with Misael if you haven't already. It was really good. We had a great talk. Now, last week I talked about Corazon de Niña and their back-to-school drive to get sponsors for each child at $300 a child for the year for medical insurance and school tuition and supplies and books and food and all that other stuff. So at the time, I told you that I had a link to the newsletter with pictures and profiles of the kids, but the link that was sent to me didn't work. So I want to take this time just to suggest to you that if you are at all interested in helping out, go to their website and send in a request to Jane Jewell to sign up for their newsletter. They send a newsletter out every month, and that way you can check out the profiles of the kids and pick one or two. You never know. Anyway, it's a great way for you to get involved with this fine charity. And talking about charities, sometime in the coming weeks, I'm going to have George from Andalays, the owner of Andalays. We're going to be talking about that famous place and about the work that he does with the Rotary Club in Puerto Vallarta. And that's going to be a great interview. George was so generous with his time, and he took me around to places. And let me just say that this interview took about 3 days. It was recorded over a 3-day period. So I'm going to have to do a ton of editing, but boy, that man is interesting, and you're going to like him for sure. Let's see, I got a 5-star review in iTunes, so thanks very much for that. It reads, "Never miss an episode" by Tofu666 from the US of A, and it reads, "Thanks, Barry, for such an informative podcast. We retired and moved to Puerto Vallarta almost a year ago, and each week enjoy learning about the latest goings-on around town and hearing the stories of the various people and interviews. Even to those of us who are lucky enough to live here full-time, the information is invaluable. Thank you, David and Charlie." All right. Well, thank you, David and Charlie. I so appreciate these 5-star reviews, and I love it. I love it when I run into a local and they tell me that they listen. And hey, I do it for you guys. I do it for everybody. Anyway, maybe one day I'll be one of you guys. Maybe I'll be a local. Who knows? I got an email from listener and frequent contributor to the show, Skip from Mini So Cold. And Skip writes, "Barry, great job on your recent podcast in Bucerias. I've not been to Karen's place, but it's now on my list for my month in Bucerias in February. Way back in episode 6, you had an interview with Gary Beck, who said about Bucerias, to me, it has the greatest restaurants after Puerto Vallarta. And if I didn't live there, I would live in Bucerias. So I do confess to you that Bucerias is my favorite place in the Banderas Bay area. To me, it has all the advantages of Old Town with great food, friendly locals, and good shopping, but it's much quieter and less crowded. I have a favorite hole in the wall in Bucerias that I would like to share with you: Bruno's Pizza and more. It's in El Centro Bucerias. It is best recognized by a large domed wood-fired oven in front. We have ordered pizza from Bruno's, and it is delicious. They offer pizza delivery to Nueva Vallarta and La Cruz de Guanajuaxtla, as well as Bucerias. They even sell pizza by the slice. Our favorite meal there is the shrimp scampi. My wife says it's the best that she's ever tried, and I agree. The price, 145 pesos, or about $8 US. They have limited seating, a few tables on the sidewalk with a couple of tables inside. If you enjoy a glass of wine with delicious Italian food, I recommend that you bring it with you. Bruno's does not sell alcohol, though the friendly bilingual waiter went across the street to Yo-Yomo's for a group dining there during our recent visit. If you bring wine, they'll supply the glasses. Pretty darn good service for a restaurant whose most expensive entree is $8 US. I'm emailing a picture of the menu Bruno sent with my pizza delivery. We have more hole-in-the-wall restaurants that we have discovered in Bucerias that I hope to share with you in the future. Thanks again for your great podcasts. Keep it up. Skip from Minnesota. Okay. All right, Skip. Thanks for those suggestions. I am going back up there in October, so I will try out Bruno's. And by the way, I did take that copy of the menu that Skip sent me, and I posted it in the show notes for this episode, so you can check that out and see what it looks like. So, wow, man, I am going to get fat. I am going to get so fat when I get over there in October and start eating at all these places that you people are suggesting. I mean, I'm going to have to look into a gym membership while I'm down there. By the way, as you know, I do open mic events with JR over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. I join him on Tuesdays for his meet and greets that he has there every week. I am going to be doing 2 of these events when I come. One of them is going to be Tuesday the 2nd of October, and then Tuesday the 9th of October. Those are going to be the meet and greets. They're going to start at 5:30 in the evening, and I'll have to pick a date for the Quatis Equitis meet and greet, but stand by for those dates. And, if you're in town, I'd love to meet you. I want to have you on my show. If you live here, come on. You got no reason not to come on down. I'll bring some T-shirts and all that jazz. So just, come on in and enjoy all the fun. And as for you, Skip, keep those recommendations coming. Tell us more about your favorite places in Bucerias. In fact, a listener and a frequent contributor as well, Cheryl, wrote to tell me how happy she was that I went up to Bucerias and introduced her to some new places. So good on you. Let's get some more of those, Skip. I'll be waiting for them, okay? All right. And also thanks to listeners Mark and Steve and you too, Cheryl, who wrote and gave me some great ideas for interviews. And those are going to be coming up for you guys in the coming weeks. Remember, you ask for it, I bring it to you. Okay. All right, well, let's get on with the show, shall we? Let's get on with this interview. In the first episode of the show, I promised all of you that you would all be meeting expats, people who chucked their lives in the United States or in Canada for a new life in Puerto Vallarta. New life in paradise, right? Well, my guest this week is a woman by the name of Barbara Ann Renee, and I'll let her tell you all about her stuff in the interview, but she moved from California to Puerto Vallarta 3 years ago. I've been stalking Barbara for about a year now, and she's hard to track down. She's a moving target, She doesn't stand still for very long, and she's just a busy woman. I would always be running into her at different events that I was going to, or, when I was on my way to do an interview, I would run right into her. And, she was just so tied up with all the things that she was involved with, and I could never really sync with her. So I finally got a microphone to her, and I did a Google Hangout with her by phone. So I've got to say that the audio actually is surprisingly good for the connection from LA to Puerto Vallarta. Now, Barbara Ann is going to give you a ton of great information, but never fear, you guys, because I've written them all down, and they're all in the show notes for this episode with links, and pictures, and maps, the whole 9 yards. So put down your pen and just listen. I took all of your notes for you. You're going to find them at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, okay? So how about we go right now to the 5th of December neighborhood in Puerto Vallarta, and let's meet my friend, and now yours, Barbara Ann Renee from Santa Barbara. All right, Barbara, thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Barry.
Tell my listeners a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path to Puerto Vallarta?
Okay, well, I've lived the last 25 years in Santa Barbara, the other paradise, Santa
Yeah.
Barbara, California. But I first came to PV, as we lovingly call Puerto Vallarta, in 1984 on my honeymoon.
Ah,
And so I've watched it change and grow and build. Anyway, so I loved it so much then. But my husband, that I'm now divorced from, he wasn't into the Latin culture. He never had a desire to be here. But over the years, I just wanted to be here. So I bought timeshare on that honeymoon,
uh-huh.
and I've been coming every year since. And we go to Mazatlan or, Cabo, but my heart was just, I love the culture here. I love the people. They're so friendly. To me, it doesn't compare to a lot of other cities I've been in the world. So, yeah, I came here a lot of times and went through a divorce. And I have 4 grown children, 2 grandkids, all in California. I said, nobody's paying my bills. Adios. And I came down here. Yeah. And my favorite street here that I live on, I knew when I came, I wanted to live on this specific street. And lo and behold, I had 1 week in my timeshare to find a place and looked on Craigslist, and it was on my street. And I've been here ever since, over 3 years.
Wow. So did you buy or did you
No,
lease? What are you doing over there?
I rent. I'm one of those people that doesn't even have a lease. That's kind of, some people say you have to have one. And I don't know, my landlord's pretty cool. I go month to month.
Mm-hmm.
We have an agreement that I'm here at a certain price for this year. And it works out fine for me. And I don't want to buy again. I've owned in Montecito and Bakersfield, and you know what? I'm over it. Plus, I can move if I want without the headache of, selling a place.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's a great plan.
yeah, and it's cheap living compared to Santa Barbara.
Oh, no kidding. Well, do you live there year round? Do you stick around during the hot
Yeah,
summer months?
yes, I do.
You
I got
do.
rid of all my crystal antiques and my Lexus. I got rid of everything, everything. And came down with 2 giant suitcases and a backpack. No animals. Now I have 2 rescues, 2 dogs.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, so you did what a lot of people do. You had the world's biggest yard sale, garage sale. You got everything out of your house. You cleared out everything, and you just put everything that you wanted into the suitcases and brought them down.
Yes, and that's what I recommend if anybody wants to move. I know friends here that have driven over the border with U-Hauls, and they're like, what the heck was I thinking? You just don't need that stuff. It's so freeing to come down and move to a whole new life without all this stuff. Just, of course, I'm here now. I'm accumulating. I love these little dishes, and you can see behind me, I get Mexican art hanging around, but
Uh-huh.
it's really different, and it's all things that they're sweet and they're nice, and they make my home colorful. But I don't need them like I needed my crystal and my collection of angels. I don't need anything. I'm done.
Wow.
It's fabulous.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing that people can actually do that. And of course, you're living the minimalist life, right? You're keeping it that way. You're buying stuff just to brighten your world. And
Right. I mean, I'm a cook. I love to cook. And I do that a lot down here because all the food's so fresh and organic. I go to the market and buy that day for a fraction of the cost of California days. So I have my Cuisinart and I have my Magic Bullet and my kitchen stuff. So that's important to me, but it's all replaceable also.
right.
So I got it all down here. I didn't bring it down with me.
Got it.
I bought new stuff and some used. We have a great, what do you call it, connection, like a marketplace on the internet with people down here buying
Really?
and selling and trading and giving. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. We have, I guess, kind of like a Facebook page idea there.
Right.
All right.
A lot of
Cool.
groups and
What's
so many people
Oh, wow.
from Canada. There's more Canadians here than Americans, I think.
I noticed that.
There's so many Canadians. And they're also great friends. Most of the Canadians I know are part-timers, snowbirds.
Right.
And they'll come from anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So, but when you're down here year round, you kind of get a crux, a circle of friends that are also year round, and
Mm-hmm.
we're here for each other because I'm a single lady living alone. So a lot of my friends are also.
All right. So what gives? There's a lot of single female expats that are living down there. What's going on with that?
It's Chickville.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it to me it makes it sound like it's safe,
Well, I feel very safe here. I mean, it is the second largest city in the state of Jalisco. So as tourism builds and people come in, we do have crime, and it happens. But my car was broken into 3 times in Montecito, California. So
Mm-hmm.
it happens. I
Yeah.
haven't had a problem here, but I know people who have, and it's life. I mean, I feel fine walking home at night. Of course, I know my neighbors, all my nationals, the Mexican people from here. I know them. I know the people who own my businesses within a 10-block radius. They know my name.
Mm-hmm.
They know my face. And to me, that's the important thing. I came down here not to live American style in a warm climate for less money. I came down here to immerse myself in the culture and the neighborhood. So I have friends that have been born and raised here. I hang out with them too. Of course, I speak decent Spanish, and that helps. You don't have to, though. I have a friend that's been here 5 years. She's 75 now. She came down with 1 suitcase and $1,000.
Wow.
She still says Puerto Vallarta. She's working on her Spanish, but she gets by fine. That's my point. You don't need Spanish down here.
No.
Like some of the cities, inner cities of the country, on the coast, you can get by.
Yeah.
Sign language and English.
Right. Yeah. That always worked for me. So, all right, you live in paradise. You're surrounded, with all kinds of, people there are having fun all around you. How do you keep out of trouble down there?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the hardest thing. I mean, it's very easy, especially from November through April or May, to just party every day.
Yeah.
Because you have friends that are coming every year that you can't wait till they get back, and all they want to do is be on vacation. So we do a lot of partying. I go out to eat a lot to lunch, sit on the beach at Mango's Beach Club or Barracuda. But I'm involved with Rise Orphanage, so I give time there with the kids and money and milk and dish detergent. And I have a group, the 5th of December is the name of my neighborhood. Okay. It's called the 5th of December, which coincidentally, nobody knew what that meant. And I found out it was the day that the state of Jalisco gave Puerto Vallarta its first plot of farming land. Okay. So it's a farming day. Anyway, but so I have that group, and we meet once a month at a restaurant on the 5th of the month at 5:00. And we do other things. I do day trips. Took a group to Guayabitos, which is about an hour and a half north of here. Beautiful flat sand, nice sand beach. You can go out in the water up to your neck without being knocked over by waves. And it's really a nice getaway. That was a day trip. And gone to Guadalajara and Guanajuato and San Miguel de Allende. Now I'm planning a trip to Talpa de Allende and Mascota, and that's going to be a day also. So we've done 3 boat trips on a luxury yacht, champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Oh, it's wonderful. So yeah, we're very busy here, Barry.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you don't know how to have fun at all, Barbara. Gotta tell you.
Right. And I'm involved in church too. I sing at Mass, and now I'm trying to get an English-speaking Mass at the Church of Our Lady of Refuge, which is just a couple blocks from my house, because they do have an English Mass at the main church, Our Lady of Guadalupe. I'm trying to get another one going. So I'm sure later today I'm meeting with the priest.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. So PV Catholic Community, that's another group I have to try to get them together for Mass. Hard to find them down here. We're all partying too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Come on, let's go to church. Oh, really? Just a minute. Let me finish my margarita first.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it sounds like you actually live a very balanced life there. I mean, it's not just all party.
Yeah.
But it does sound like you guys have a lot of fun. So what do you gals do, that 5th of December group? What do you like raise money, or you just get together to have fun, or what do you do?
We right now in the high season, it's totally meetup, social meetup.
Social meetup.
Because the people are in high season, they'll donate the things, but they don't want to donate their time. They're really here for their vacation time. But we support a group, I can't remember the name of it, of local children from our neighborhood and 3 surrounding neighborhoods to be in a track and field competition every October. And it's 250 pesos, about $12 to sponsor a child. So we sponsored 10 kids last year, but we also had enough money and we bought, I don't know, 8 or 9 javelins.
Oh, wow.
So we collected, about $1,500, and I helped that group. And also we have a group that gets together to look for families that have specific needs. Like right now, I'm sponsoring a child to go to school because the father doesn't make enough money and the child has to register and pay. They just had to pay 1,000 pesos. Well, these people, their minimum wage is 85 pesos a day.
Yeah.
So, and then like a neighbor of mine is helping a man that works on a property, 80 years old, getting him hearing aids and cataract surgery. So we're all donating, and we just kind of help, the neighborhood. There's always fundraisers for something also, like the dogs. I mean, Puerto Vallarta is known for dogs and cats, saving them, flying into Canada. And the women's shelter, Friday's the National Day of Women, March 8th, I think, or whatever, Friday. Anyway, they're going to raise money for the women's shelter at Devil's Bar and Grill. We hang out there. They have a new Devil's Bars on the Malecon. Now they opened up Devil's Bar and Grill. It's a cool hangout, and they do a lot of good stuff for the community. Captain Don's, we dance. I love to dance. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Barry, in Santa Barbara, I would have to pay an enormous cover charge for a band that I may not even be able to dance to, and pay, $10 a drink. Down here, it's awesome. The rock and roll, the jazz. We've got a country band that's playing right as we speak down the street at Captain Don's. Great music in many different venues, and I love it. I mean, and old and young. I'm in the middle. There's young people living here too.
Yeah.
I have friends in their 30s that moved here with their kids, lock, stock, and barrel. They're working online, teaching English, teaching school. So it's a pretty broad community.
Yeah, no kidding. And now,
a lot of single women, though.
I noticed. I noticed. So, tell us a little bit about Rise, about that is it orphanage?
Yeah, it's an orphanage. It's called Refugio Infantil Espiritu Santo, something like that. But it's up off the Libramiento, which is the main road that circles around Puerto Vallarta. And it's run by Catholic nuns. I can't even remember the nun's name, what the order is. And it's supported by donations. This year, they formed a new board to try to get it more organized. And they're doing a great job with getting volunteers on a schedule, helping the different groups of kids, English, art, activities, science projects. And I've supported them since 1984 financially because my timeshare supports them. Mm. And a lot of the timeshares will align themselves with, one or another fundraising opportunity here. So that's how I got hooked up with them. And it's a really beautiful place. Right now, I think they have about 32 children there. Some of the children are orphaned, truly, and some parents, they just can't afford to keep them. Yeah. And some are there temporarily, and some will live their lives there.
Wow.
So it's sad, but it's a reality here. There are several orphanages and children of the dump. That's something else we support. Children and families living in the dump, needing blankets and food. Yeah, so it's really funny because a lot of Americans and Canadians come down and they love the beach and the resort and the fancy restaurants and never venture within 2 blocks away from the beach. And so what I'm trying to do, especially with 5th of December, the group on Facebook, which I have 1,000 members in that now, is just try to open visitors' eyes to the community that they're partaking of during those 6 months that they're here. I mean, it is their home. And, we can't have a blind eye to the poverty around us, and it is here. But we are certainly rich in comparison to the basic person that was born and raised and working here. We really are. Even with a $1,000 a month income, you are rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no doubt. Well, there's lots of people that go down and retire there. Do you find that they're similar in a lot of ways, or?
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, it's like anywhere. I think anywhere that has tourism, even Santa Barbara. You have your people that want to live, as I was talking about before, American style, American living. Canadian style is the same. and not interact and integrate with the community that lives here, even full-time. Some of them just don't even mess with full-timers. They have their own groups. Or you have people that just came here to get, like I did, shun the materialism that we've been with all of our lives, even though we're very materialistic compared to the locals, and just live a freer way. But there are plenty of people that they come here and get their plastic surgery and buy their cars, and they still want 2 cars because they're 2 drivers and all that stuff. So it really runs a gamut, Barry. It really runs a gamut. And I know a woman here, she's living on $750 American dollars a month. That's her Social Security income. She's doing fine. But there are other people that are living on, $7,000 a month. So you can go either way. Mm-hmm. Some beautiful properties down here. People buy them, they buy them and pools and, beautiful. But I go to pool, I swim down the street at a pool at the El Pescador Hotel.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Great. Yeah. I do miss a jacuzzi because I love jacuzzi, but I go to my timeshare sometimes and use that too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I live on the beach, so I'm in the water a lot.
Yeah.
And it's warm all year.
How about that? And sometimes even really warm all year.
Yeah.
I should say.
It's warmer than the bathtub.
Yeah, I should say so. I love your neighborhood there. It's very nice. People have expectations. They come down for vacation during the high season when the weather's really good. They decide, to do what you did, to sell everything and move to Mexico. Can you tell us a story or two about some of those people that maybe didn't make it?
Well, this is funny that you asked that because it kind of ties into what we were just talking about, different kinds of people. 2 couples that I met, one is a friend of a friend, and the other is somebody I met online because we meet each other in expat groups online and then hook up here and decide if we're going to hang out more. Mm-hmm. And both of them came, sold everything, lock, stock, and barrel, and decided within the first year that it wasn't for them. One of the reasons is people are here looking for friends because it's a transient kind of place. So you make a lot more friends a lot easier here than, for instance, Santa Barbara. But then you form cliques. There are cliques. And people talking about each other and people who don't have a life that all they really do is party or hang at the beach and aren't involved in other things. So it kind of turns into a little gossip circle. Of course, it did in Santa Barbara too. So, but these people were disgusted with that. They didn't like that. They didn't like the garbage on the corners of the streets because we put our garbage bags out on the corner at 7 in the morning and 7 at night. We have 2 pickups a day. But they used to have bins, and in the heat, the bins draw, what?
Not so nice.
Right. And so that's tough. And the things of Mexico, exposed wiring, and just too hot in the summer. Some of the people thought they could make it, and they couldn't. It's too hot. So those 2 couples left. And then I have a lady friend here. She's 80, and she was sick last month and really felt lonely, even though we were in contact with her and bringing her things. So she's going back on the 15th of this month, back up to Oregon to be with her family. I can't believe she's going this time of the year.
Yeah. She can wait another couple months, right?
Yeah, I think it just scared her a little and we have great medical down here. Fabulous medical services, but she's living alone and she's 80 years old. So
yeah. How do you deal with your medical there? Do you have a policy separate from what you have at home?
Yeah, I have international insurance, which is out of my company that I'm with right now is out of Belize. I'm going to be switching companies in April with my birthday because there's another company, but there's plenty of international insurance programs. And my plan, I took a $2,500 deductible, but you can take $500 deductible, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And I'm covered 100% around the globe, except United States, 80-20.
Don't go home.
But that's okay because I had knee surgery here. I got stitches in my arm because I put my arm in a fan. Doctors are great. I've had MRIs, and MRI is like $300.
Yeah, wow.
And blood work is cheap, and I have thyroid issues, so I just walk down and say I need my blood taken today. You don't need a prescription. You don't have to go to the doctor first. It's wonderful and so clean and so knowledgeable. The doctors are great. A lot of them are trained in Mexico City and Puebla. Puebla has some of the top medical people in the world that have come out of Puebla. So it works. It's great. And dental, hello. Everybody comes here for their dental. I've been coming here 17 years for my teeth.
Okay.
I didn't even have a dentist anymore up there because I couldn't afford it.
You have a favorite one down there, yes?
Well, I went to Fernando Penalva for years, but he's out on the marina at the Plaza Marina, and he's awesome, and his office is awesome. But now I found one, and I can't remember his last name, Paco, and he's down in Old Town on Carranza Street, Calle Carranza. He's wonderful. And then I get a cleaning at another office, a dentist who only does cleanings, 300 pesos.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
That's
$17.
17, yeah, 17, 18 bucks, you guys.
And it's an hour cleaning.
Yeah.
I've never had a more thorough cleaning. Clean her equipment, unbelievable.
Next time I'm down, I'm in.
You go. I got the connection. I have a connection for so much. A guy asked me the other day, can I make a phone call because there's black tarry type stuff in the street by the cemetery? Like, what? I'm not the mayor.
I know, right? All of a sudden, you are you're in charge of everything. You are the mayor, though, of a popular Facebook page called PV Rants and Raves, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So tell us about that page, Ms. Mayor.
Well, I started out PV Rants and Raves with a friend because we were tired of some of the other groups that weren't allowing a lot of the truth to be told. They would delete things that were negative.
Oh, yeah.
And while this is a paradise, it is, as I said, a large city, and stuff happens.
Yes, happens.
And we didn't, and opinions weren't allowed, things like that. So we started Rants and Raves. Well, it's loaded with great information. We have like 4,500 members now, but it also lends itself towards some discussion and debate that can get nasty, especially on Sunday nights when people don't have a lot to do. And quite honestly, I think a lot of them are home drinking alone.
Ricea takes over. It's all over there.
I have one friend, she's a popular musician here. She's in the group, but never engages. But she said, I finish a gig, I go home, I pop open a beer, and that's my entertainment. It's better than any Netflix. So just to read what people are writing about.
Let me tell you what, I love to read it, and I do stay away. I don't type. I read. It's a lot of fun. Okay, some haha emojis and a couple of,
Right, that's it.
Well, all right. With that in mind, what would you say is your most, maybe you can think about this, what would you say was your most disturbing rant that you've ever had on your Rants and Raves?
Well, honestly, there's been quite a few in the last few months. It goes in waves. Like every 6 weeks or so, I have to consult with my moderator and really deal with stuff or delete or block. But the one that started us being more aware with the growing numbers and growing rants was a guy calling a gal the C word.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she called him something back because he called her a name. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to set some rules up. Right now, currently, there are no rules. I took it down. People, we're in an experimental stage. But there's a lot of name calling, and then people making false accusations like this person, was drunk and dancing on a table and took their shirt off when indeed they weren't even at that bar that night.
So untruths actually happened?
Yes.
And I can't believe it. Not on the face bags.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and then I'll get a private message at 3 and 4 in the morning. Could you please remove that? Oh my God.
Oh, see, that's why I don't have a page. I don't do that. I mean, I don't run a group, I should say. I have a page. I just don't run a group.
You don't run a group. Well, yeah. It's work. It takes time, but I enjoy it, and I do believe it's a service. It's an entertainment service, but it's also very informative. Where can I buy a remote control for my air conditioner was on the other day, and different things like that. Any information, or fix-it man, or plumber, and of course restaurants, good and bad.
Right.
And I have a lot of friends who are restaurateurs here. And I'm an actress here. I do plays. I do acting and singing and playing piano. And every play can't be the most amazing show in the world. It's
Right.
just, yeah. And I want to hear if somebody thinks that I stunk in my performance, say so. And that this is the forum that you can say it nicely. We say
Yeah.
no bullying, no personal attacks. So that's what I have to, my moderator and I are always looking out for using names, specific people's names to attack them.
Mm-mm.
But it's a lot of work. And a lot of times we don't see it. And then we have to get the PM that it was there and deal with it. So it's a job,
Yeah.
an unpaid job, but it's fun. I like it.
Just another thing for you to do
Yeah,
to keep you out of trouble.
busy, exactly. Go full circle.
Any outstanding rants that you can think of, or
Outstanding
no?
brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is, but I'm not going to say.
All right, never mind. All right, we won't go there.
I plead the fifth.
Let's talk about places that you like to go and party and listen to music, because you talked about that a little earlier. You talked about Captain Don's, which is right down the street from you, and
Right.
then where
really?
I think I saw you over at El Rio. That's a
Right.
cool
I love
place.
going to El Rio, going there tomorrow to hear Tres Cuatros, a great band. Que Pasa is great. The Texas Embassy Blues Band. Love those guys on Friday Nights Blues. They have Nacho Daddy's and the Boutique Theater upstairs. They have stuff all the time, every night of the week. And we're taking it year round. I mean, we probably shut down for August there. Que Pasa usually shuts down for August. But other than that, we pack them in with full timers even in the summer. So, yeah, and I like to go once in a blue moon. I'll go to Roxy because they have a pole.
Oh, oh, Barbara, really?
And so this old lady tries to get the girls up. They don't come on the pole. Like, come on. Anyway,
Roxy. Okay, all right.
that's my aerobic.
I'm writing
Yeah.
this all down. Okay, Roxy.
Yeah. And then the Jazz Foundation, they really they have nice music there. It's great. There's other clubs too. It's just great. CC's, good jazz.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about eateries. Where do you like to eat? I talk to a lot of locals, and you just got done saying you like to cook. So I know I'm probably in big trouble because everybody I talk to, oh, I don't go out to breakfast. Oh, I don't do lunch. Come on, I need some help here. So
Oh, you're talking to the wrong people.
I know.
I go to the new restaurant, Soli Luna, is owned by a guy named Jorge, and that's on San Salvador, on the way to the markets, the local big market where I buy my fish there.
Uh-huh. What
I buy my meat across the street.
Where do you buy your fish?
At the end of San Salvador, where it meets the cemetery,
Okay.
Towards the mountain, the street called San Salvador. It's right across from the Villa Premier Hotel
Okay.
on the main street, Avenue, New Mexico. And then you go straight up towards the mountain. And there's several restaurants on there. There's a good Chinese restaurant on that street. It's on the right-hand side, and it's red, but I can't remember the name of it. It's the only Chinese restaurant. And then across the street is Soli Luna and the market, like I said.
Mhm.
And then I go to and Soli Luna. Oh, I got to say about them. Why I like it is it is all fresh, all organic, and prepared on the spot. So I go in and I say, make me an omelet with spinach, cilantro, onions, mushrooms, cheese, green peppers, and jalapeno. That's my favorite. And they chop it. They don't even have onions chopped up. I mean, it started from scratch.
Mm.
They have a great surf and turf, great arrachera, great hamburgers, good meat with seasoning in it. A lot of places down here serve hamburgers, just the meat.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of dead. Well, it is dead.
It
but
is. Yeah.
Don't spice it up too much.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and then we frequent, my friends and I, on the 5th of December, La Traviata, which has a fabulous sunset view, and it's on top of the Paloma del Mar Hotel, and that's on Honduras Street, which is right up from the Pemex in the center of Cinco de Diciembre, center of town, Pemex gas station. You just go straight up, can see it on the top of the building, big circle, says La Traviata, and they have wood fire pizzas, filet mignon, fettuccine, lasagna, fish, chicken, and great drinks, wine, and the full bar, and music. Checo and Alex play there on Friday nights at 9. And during high season, they play Thursdays from 6 to 8.
Oh.
So they're really good Spanish music and really excellent musicians. It's fun. Alex plays the drums and the cajon and different, percussion things. And they're just awesome. And then we go to, my favorite is Layla's.
I love
Oh
Layla's.
God, so delicious, so wonderful. And Layla's on Venezuela. It's a block, half a block from the beach by the main park in the center of town, which is called Parque Hidalgo. And Huarique. Huarique is down on Achilles Cerdan. It's close to the Intercam Bank, across from Los Mercados, which is an expensive gringo's place to buy deli meats and good wines and mustards and things you can't get in the regular stores. Right across the street is Huarique, Warique. I forget what it stands for. It's something Peruvian. But they have a Southern American, South American fare and a couple Polish things because it's owned by a Polish guy and a Peruvian guy. They have delicious potato balls and crab stacks and this potato stack with mashed potatoes. Oh my God. Great. They have a pulled pork sandwich to die for. The bread's awesome. So that's another place. Oh God, I could go on and on because we eat out a lot. I eat at the Wild Hungry Cougar at least once a week for home cooking kind of thing, like meatloaf or pierogies or a good burger. And they have a burger, fries, and a beer for 75 pesos.
Wow. And that's like that's upstairs. That's this little
That's
place upstairs from Apache's, right?
Exactly. Paso Angeles and Apaches. It used to be called the Thirsty Cougar, but they had to change to Wild Hungry Cougar because they got attacked by the people who owned the Thirsty Cougar in Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
It already existed, and I think they had a trademark on it or something. That's cool. We know it's the Cougar.
Right.
All we say is we're going the Cougar. So, yeah, and I kind of steer clear of a lot of the tourist trap restaurants people want, which I went to over the years. I just kept going back to the same ones. But now I find there's so much more out there, and it's more reasonable and it's better fare.
Yeah.
The food is delicious. There's we go for sushi a lot. My favorite sushi place is actually in the Galleria Mall.
Really?
It's called Kensao, and they deliver.
Oh.
And they have a lot of sashimi there, which I like. A lot of the other places only have tuna or salmon sashimi. But I go to Sushi House in Versailles. That's down from the HSBC Bank. And then the Natural Cafe. Oh, my God, delicious.
Really?
And Natureza Deli down the same street. Oh, there's just so many fabulous places. Melissa's Seafood is in Centro, which people ask this stuff online. That's what I say to people who are coming down here. Try to get into a local group to find out rather than just going to TripAdvisor. I mean, TripAdvisor is a good thing, but it's kind of touristy.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten a lot of help on Rants and Raves asking, we're coming down at this time of the year. Where should we eat? Should we do the Pirates Cruise or should we do the Rhythms of the Night? And all kinds of people give their feedback because everybody's different. Their needs are different. And I can't believe I'm confessing I've never done either of those.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I'm not into a lot of the tourist type stuff. But, I love to walk the streets and see the street art. We have a new galleria called The Hive.
Where's that?
Also, it's on San Salvador Street at the corner of, I think it's Brazil and San Salvador. Oh, they painted the whole wall, the whole corners. They have a huge outdoor space. They had a grand opening. And a lot of local artists and artists who come from out of town for a week or two are welcome there. Some of them just hang out there, kind of camp out and paint. And they're really building the street art in Cinco de Diciembre. So, they're painting as we speak. And they have a street art tour that they just started now.
Oh, really?
And it's about 2.5 hour walk going around and looking at the street art and finding out about the artists and stopping for a taco or two along the way.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. We're trying to pop Cinco de Diciembre out into color.
Yeah. Well,
that's what we're doing. We're going to have paintings all over the place. I have a mural on my wall. I had Misael Lopez paint a huge underwater mural that rises up to the sky. It's got a seahorse that turns into a hummingbird and a turtle and a big fish. Beautiful.
Will you send me a picture of it so I can put it in the blog post?
Sure.
All right. You're all right, kid.
I got it on my Facebook. I'll send it to you.
Okay, good. Good. All right. Thanks for that. Let me ask you a couple of questions about, I just had a friend of mine say, I'm coming to Puerto Vallarta. I'm going to come on a cruise ship and
a day.
Yeah. What do you do in a day? What do you do if you have like 5 hours or 4 hours? What do you do?
Well, the cruise ships offer a lot of tours that you pay for, you prepay for, and then you could, get on a taxi or Jeep or whatever you're going to get on right at the cruise ship. I have had several friends come in for a day, and I took over And they said it was the best day of their whole cruise all around because I do the local stuff. I take them up the street on the corner of Brazil and Panama. We have fish tacos, 3 for 50 pesos. And they're flounder. They're delicious. And you can get them cooked or fried. So they're, oh my gosh, this is great. And you get a margarita for $1. Good margarita. I always take them, run them down the Malecon and take them into Old Town just so they can see the different neighborhoods. Old Town is a lot more packed. It's very crowded and they're building a lot more there, but there's a lot of action down there. I like them to see the pier and take a moment to go down Paseo Badillo, the main street in the town. If there's time, I'll take them to the Lázaro Cárdenas Market, which is in Old Town also. And I always like to bring them back to my neighborhood, to Playa de Camarones, and let them see how the locals hang out. And everybody loves that. So there's a lot to do. But you can, you can take a boat trip. You could take a canopy tour and do that zip lining and all that stuff. I mean, everybody's different. If you have kids, it might be a better idea to just have a tour planned.
Yeah.
You don't want to be willy-nilly. But, I mean, people have asked me to meet them at the cruise ship. They want to go on the bus. And these are friends. I don't have a business or anything. I'm like, okay. So I meet them at the cruise ship. We go on the bus. We pass Walmart. Believe it or not, a lot of cruisers here stop and go to Walmart. That's what they do.
Killing me.
Oh,
killing
my
me.
goodness. So, yeah, but I'll take them on the bus and point things out along the way. And then they get to see the church. And some people want to go in and see the main church, Guadalupe, because it's pretty. Others go, okay, that's good. That's church. And I talk about the art on the Malecon, which we have beautiful sculptures. And there is a sculpture tour, but it's on 9 o'clock or 9:30 on Thursday. So the cruisers, there's a lot of tours for the cruise people, though, that they offer from the cruise ship. One day, man, I say eat some street tacos, eat some shrimp and oysters on the beach, fresh shuck down there by the pier. Well, I get oysters here on Playa Camarones from my guy, David, too. I trust them. They're fresh.
Guy.
Oh, so good. And, do a couple of those local things and walk the street, Olas Altas, and come back to Cinco de Diciembre, to peace.
Yeah. All right.
It's peaceful over here, yeah.
So there you go.
And
so there's your 3-hour tour, or more.
Yeah, or more.
What's your favorite day trip when you just want to get out of town?
Well, I don't get out of town a lot because I am so busy and I love the town.
Yeah.
But I've gone to Yalapa a few times, and it's fun to you have to take 2 buses to get to Boca de Tomatlan. Boca is mouth, so it's the mouth of the Tomatlan River, where you get on a boat, a little panga it's called, to go to any one of a number of isolated sort of beaches. It makes you feel like you're on an island, but it's really a little peninsula. Yalapa is fun to climb the mountain through the town. It's like one dirt street up through this town, and you could go on a donkey and do that. If you want a burro, you can do that. I've never done that. I just walk past the burros. And there's a waterfall, and then you could go to the next height and go on the waterfall. Some of the cruise people actually do that for their day. It's very expensive over there because they have to bring everything over on boats. Yeah. So even a beer, like in town, is 25 pesos, and over there it's 50. So, and the food, but they have a pie lady. They have a really good pie. So that's kind of fun to go to, or Las Animas. And there's another beautiful beach restaurant called Malaicas. And that's a little further than Yalapa. That's beautiful. If you just want to get away from the busyness of tourists and the people walking the streets and sounds of buses, I do love to go to Maito.
Yeah.
Maito and Tehuamixle. They're about 2 hours south of Puerto Vallarta. And when we come back and get into town, we round the corner at the Pemex station there. It's like, oh my God, New York.
I know.
I feel like I'm in New York because it's so silent and clear and the water's fresh. The sand goes forever. You can walk for kilometers. There's nothing on the ocean's on one side, and the other side is ecosystem. They will not build there.
Right. And I've seen they have bungalows and places that you can stay there, but to me, it's a little bit too eco, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's 2 hotels there. There are a couple Airbnbs in the little town, but there's Hotel Maito, which has a pool and a restaurant, and next door is a Rinconcito, which is where I stay. And it's awesome. And it's like 400 or 500 pesos a person. Nice beds, very clean. A guy named Fernando and his wife, I can't remember her name. They run the place. And there are hammocks. Some people come with their guitars. You hang out in the evening and play music,
Very
and just walk
bohemian.
the
Very
beach.
bohemian.
It is very bohemian. It is.
I'll bet you the stars
Really
out
good.
there are just incredible at night.
That's the thing. It is so clear. Yeah, I mean, if you just reach out and touch them out there, you don't have any city lights
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I love it. I mean, I've been there several times just for one night.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you could go for the day, but it's pretty far. I mean, to me, I love the night there and the morning. It's cold. It's fresher. It's beautiful.
Well, when you're there and you're there for the night, you're kind of like there for the night. You don't want to be
Oh, yeah.
driving around.
Oh, no, 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 no. No,
So, yeah.
it's a little sketchy. I mean, because from the main road in, there's a 20 minutes on bumpy dirt road still.
Yeah.
They paved part of it, but the rest isn't. But no, no, no. You stay there. You don't go out walking around.
You're there for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But we have fun. We just sit out there. They have picnic tables and we eat. And they have an honor system. Your name's in the book with your room number, and you get a Coca-Cola and you put a slash. You would take a pack of cookies. You say cookies, and then when you check out, you pay for all the stuff on your page in the book. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Well, that's a great way to go.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like a 3-day trip. Do you have any other 3-day trips that you like to take around that area?
Guayabitos,
Uh-huh.
which I mentioned before.
So when you go to Guayabitos, where do you stay?
I can't
All right,
remember.
all right.
The
Don't. You
hotel
don't
on the beach, and I can't. It's a woman's name. It's a name of a woman. Jessica? I cannot remember.
Oh.
It's a name of a woman. I don't have the card.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's a female name. But what's cool about Guayabitos, if you go by bus, you get there and you can't really go anywhere, but you can go out on the beach and take a panga around the corner to Chacala. And Chacala it's a little niche, like a little tiny little bay.
Mhm.
And they have restaurants, like kind of shacks, fish shacks on the beach and stuff. That's a cool little getaway. And it's a little boat ride too. And they bring you back. La Peñita is about 5 minutes north of there. You can take a bus there, and they have a Thursday market that is huge.
Really?
And then they have arts and crafts and food to eat, fresh produce. And it goes, I don't know how long it is, maybe half a mile. I mean, it's a big market.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's Thursday evenings. And so you can include that in your Guayabitos day. And then you could go south a little bit to Los Ayala or Lo de Marcos, just for an hour or two, which are very deserted feeling. I like to stay in Guayabitos because it's a clean town. It's walkable. It's much more walkable than Puerto Vallarta. It's flat, paved. They don't have cobblestones. If they do, they're like more concrete covered on them. It's a happening place. I like the sand there. I like the water. You can go in it deep. So that's a cool trip. And then on the way, depending, like if you rent a car or take an Uber or taxi, then you could stop at Sayulita or San Pancho or both before you go to Guayabitos. Sayulita has changed a lot. I've been going there for over 20 years. And it's now become kind of a bobo place to be. I know a lot of friends of mine from Montecito own homes there and Aspen. I'm like, really? Sayulita? Yeah. But then my friend owns a business there, Alley Cat Sailing. They have the best boat for going out to the Marietas Islands,
cool.
And they have some other trips. And Alley Cat Sailing, they have a thing that they pull behind their boat, like a big net.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it. I think they call it a boom. And you get in the net and they drag you. It's so fun. Yeah. And then they have kayaks and snorkeling equipment, everything you need. And their food on their particular boat is all fresh and made on the boat.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's not like some places will give you a boxed sandwich from Subway or, they have rice, beans, chicken, tortillas, salsa, pico de gallo. It's and drinks, and it's really good. That's a great trip. That's a day trip to do, a boat ride. Also swimming in the wild with the dolphins. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a blast. Can't touch them. You get off the boat several times, and they're all around you.
Amazing. That scared the you-know-what out of me, I'll tell you. Those things are big.
Yeah. Swimming in the wild with the dolphins with Maru Sanchez, her name is. She's on Facebook. That's great. But another day trip I like to do, or 3 days is a better timing for, is to go to Talpa de Allende and Mascota. Mascota is an awesome historical colonial city. It's beautiful. Their food is delicious. They have some different foods, like they have jugo en su carne, which means juice in your meat. which is typical of the region. And it's a bowl of beef broth, tomato and beef broth with the meat all ripped up in it, like shredded. And then you add your onions, your cilantro, and your beans and scoop it with tortillas. Just dip.
Wow.
It's delicious. And also in Tapa de Allende, that's a World Heritage place. And they have a Church of Miracles there. So every year in Holy Week, the people come on their knees down the main road to the church for miles.
Whoa.
And there's like millions of people. Now, I've never gone. I met a guy the other day that went this last year, and he said they got their hotel room way in advance, but they were literally people sleeping on the streets with their sleeping bags and sleeping in the lobbies of the hotels. And that's how crowded it gets if you're into that. But it's supposed to be quite a spectacle. And there's also a group of horsemen, caballeros, women, a gal named Kelly who used to head up the Calgary Stampede, was the first white female to do this horse ride. It's 50 miles from here, or is it kilometers? I'm sorry, I don't know my math. But they go along these ledges and cliffs in the mountains, and they ride their horses from Puerto Vallarta all the way into Talpa. And she, 2 years ago, this Kelly gal, I met her at the airport of all places. She led the gang in. She led the brigade.
Wow.
She said she had no clue. There were thousands of people cheering them. Then they get to the church, and there's this bishop kind of guy, and there's mariachis, and they put a big hat on her head. She had no clue. She just thought she was going to be the first horse in town. But whoa, it was a lot more than that. And it's a huge celebration, and it's beautiful. People have in the church, there's an area where they have like crutches or like a little girl's ponytail because they were healed of something. And great food there, great little local restaurants, and delicious stuff there too. It's beautiful. But Talpa, you can walk around and be happy 2 or 3 hours in that town. Mascota is a place I stay overnight. I stayed in Talpa two times already overnight also, because it's lovely in the evening. It's quiet.
Do they have nice places to stay?
Yeah. I stayed at the Mission Hotel in Talpa. It's right behind the church, very clean. Well, I had a puppy at the time, so I had to find a place that would let him come in his little cage. Mm-hmm. And he did. And I can't remember where I stayed in Mascota. And I'll tell you where else you got to go. If you're over here for even 2 weeks, if you take 3 days, go over to Tlaquepaque and Tonalá, which are outside of the city of Guadalajara. If you want to go into the big city, it's historical, it's big, it's fast, it's crowded. If I were to do that, I would go to Tlaquepaque and then take a bus tour of Guadalajara, a 2 to 3 hour, and then you're done. Because it's huge. And it's huge. It's a giant city. But you go by the university and a lot of his beautiful architecture there. Beautiful. It's hard to navigate. It's even hard to navigate on buses when you live there. You got to really know the system. You get taxis too. But Tlaquepaque is delightful. Beautiful artisans, great food. And then Tonalá is where you shop for all things Mexican for prices that you couldn't believe.
Really?
I'll give you an example. My friend's living over in Guadalajara right now, in Tlaquepaque, for Spanish classes for 6 months. Well, here in Puerto Vallarta, they have these blown glass hearts, red, yellow, blue. My friend bought one for 75 pesos. She went back last week, and they were 100 pesos because we were in high season. Mm-hmm. And she says, wait a minute, I just bought it for 75. They said, sorry, it's 100 now. Well, I sent a picture to my girlfriend that's over in Guadalajara. I says, if you see any of these, if they're under 50 pesos, we each want 5 of these hearts. They were 17 pesos a piece. Mm-hmm. So that's Tonalá. Mm-hmm. And that's where she got them. And also I love walking around Tonalá because they have the old doors. And I had a whole album of pictures of doors. They're different paints and layers of paints that are weathered. It's really magical. Pretty cool. And their market at night in Tonalá, you have capirotada. Capirotada is basically like a bread pudding, and they make it in a gigantic copper pot. It's butter, bread, big pieces of bread, raisins, walnuts, cinnamon, caramelized. Oh, it's rich. And it's mostly sold and eaten. It's traditional for Holy Week. But right now, the grocery store by my house, Ley, L-E-Y, Ley, they're selling it. Uh-huh. And it's delicious from the grocery store. Capirotada.
Go figure.
Yeah, delicious.
So when you couldn't possibly do that in a day, right? You need 3 days to do that.
To go over there, I would do 2 nights at least.
2 nights. And so how
I
would you
would.
do that? Can you take a bus? What do you
Well,
have
to
to
be
do?
honest, I've never taken the bus, but this gal that's living there taking Spanish lessons, she's gone back and forth several times on the bus. She said it's fabulous. Barbara likes to drive and likes to stop off along the way.
I got it.
So my very first trip to Guadalajara, that's where I discovered Talpa and Mascota. I just said, oh, let's get off here. What's this? I had no clue. Uh, I just like to be able to get out and,
Yeah.
stop on the road. But you could take a bus easily and you could fly. It's like $50, $100 round trip from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara. And then you take a bus from Guadalajara airport to Tlaquepaque for like $1.50.
Oh,
Very easy.
oh
Yeah,
wow.
very easy to do.
What a
Same
great
thing with
idea.
Guanajuato and San Miguel de Allende. You can fly into Leon, which is a fabulous city, and it's the leather capital. And then you could take a bus. It's about 45 minutes to San Miguel. No, it's about an hour and 15 minutes to San Miguel de Allende.
Okay.
And another 40 minutes to Guanajuato City, which is just strikingly beautiful. I was mesmerized by Guanajuato City. Mesmerized.
Hmm.
I'm actually going to go stay there for the month of September this year.
Are you really?
Yeah.
So that's how mesmerized you were.
I've only
You're
been
still
mesmerized.
there. You're still there.
Yeah. Paris does the same thing for me. And I'm shocked that a city in Mexico, it was so magical. A lot of young people, there's a university, it's the birthplace of Cervantes. So they have a Cervantino festival every October. You go to San Miguel de Allende, which a lot of people like it there. It's becoming expensive again, like Sayulita, and very artsy, and dress shops that are like Newport Beach.
Hmm.
So I liked it. It was colorful and it was nice, but I prefer Guanajuato City for myself. But everybody's different. But you can also fly into the town of Querétaro. Querétaro is a huge city, and it's also a great place. I mean, Mexico is huge. I mean, it just goes on and on. Something on my bucket list is San Cristobal de las Casas, and it's like ancient Spain. So I've seen it on YouTube, and I'm going to go there. But that's about a 4-hour flight.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't want to drive there because it's down there by Honduras.
Yeah, and that's not your $100 round trip either.
No, but I don't know what it is, but maybe like $250.
All right, so that's not bad.
It's not too expensive to fly within Mexico, and a lot of my friends fly to Tijuana on the cross border. It's called cross border, and then they go over to San Diego.
Hmm.
They'll take trains up if they're going north, like to LA or something. Just take the Amtrak.
Yes, well, I have done that. I have done the Tijuana flight.
You did it.
But that's another story.
And my friend just came back. She's like, "That was so easy."
Yeah, no, I know that people do, and I have somebody I'm going to be talking to in the next couple of days, and she's going to tell me about how she flies out of Tijuana as well. But when Deborah and I did it, it was fine, except for the way back, the airport was closed, so the pilot didn't know that, and he came down to try to land, and the airport was closed and it was fogged out. And so we took three swipes at the airstrip, and then finally we landed in Lindbergh Field.
Oh.
But I've told that story to my listeners before, so they get to hear it again.
You get it again. Well, you can't help that. Why'd they close the airport?
It was fogged out. It was fogged out, and they just failed to tell the pilot.
Oh my Lord!
It was very interesting. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Mexican air traffic control.
It's very weird. It was strange. All right, so those are great. Those are all great 3-day and more kind of trips out of Puerto Vallarta. But let's go back to Puerto Vallarta. Let's talk about something I ask everybody, and that is, what would you tell a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta? What kind of advice would you give them?
First-time visitors, my number one advice is leave your jewelry and your Coco Chanel and Gucci at home.
Good.
Do not try to create an aura of well-to-do aura. You're an immediate target. You're not going to get good prices. You're a target for a robbery. Just wear your shorts and your regular summer top and your flip-flops, and don't be carrying a big fancy purse, and wear it across your shoulder. Mm-hmm. I've never had anybody grab my purse, but since I lived here 3.5 years, I know of 2 different women that happened to. Both were in Old Town. Old Town is a lot more congested, so it's easier for them to get away with it in a way. You know, they just snag and run.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, don't look ostentatious, because then they got you.
Right. You don't want to stand out.
Yeah, I see ladies, man, they get their nails perfectly done before they come, which is fine. But then, you know, they've got the 5 rings that obviously are worth $10,000 and diamond earring studs and a Coco Chanel necklace.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're trying to barter for a wrap that you could get at Ross for $6.99. And these guys are trying to get 500 pesos for it. And the ladies, oh, okay. So, and some people don't care what stuff costs, but just don't look ostentatious. You stand out. Unless you're going to stay at the resort, and who cares? We'll be fancy smancy, but stuff happens at resorts too.
Yeah.
All
right.
right. Just leave your jewelry home. That's my big one. And men, don't wear black socks with flip-flops.
Yay. I was waiting for somebody to say that. I'm glad it was you.
No black socks with flip-flops.
Right.
Or sandals. Okay.
Right. This is coming from a lady, you guys, all right? She knows, all right? Leave
pretty.
your black socks at home. You're going to be wearing shorts.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
And don't worry about not speaking Spanish. You know, and a lot of them locals do speak a little English, but you know, they understand enough to get by. So don't be scared of that. That's not something to be scared of.
That's good.
I mean, I've been coming here since 1984, so I love it. I just love this place.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh.
Is there something I've missed? Have I missed anything here in my questioning of you?
Oh, well, I'm going to talk about the water a little bit.
Yeah.
People, you know, I'm from the East Coast. Originally, I'm from Pennsylvania, and we had sharks out there. We don't have a lot of sharks in this bay. There have been several sightings over the past 50 years. That's all. And there is a shark out there. I forget what it's called, but it's not the kind that go after fish and body. I think that's like a, what do you call it? Herbivore or something. I don't know what it eats, but I read about it because my mom read somewhere. My mom's in Pennsylvania. She's like, oh, there was a shark at Puerto Vallarta. Well, there wasn't. Anyway. But we do have jellyfish. I've never gotten stung here. I have in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But some people get little bites on their legs. It's not deadly. It's okay. It just hurts a little and itches. But we also have riptides. And it's important to pay attention to the flags. There are flags on our beaches. If it's a red flag, unless you're a really great swimmer, just like California, you don't go in because you can't see those tides. And there have been a few people drawn out, and they've had to be rescued. But other than that, I just love it because the water temperature is so amazing. It's darker in the bay, like you can't really see the bottom. If you get out by Punta de Mita and Nuevo Vallarta, it's clearer waters because it's more open. We're in a bay.
Mm-hmm.
When you pass the airport, it's open seas. But I love it. And I also recommend if you're going to go in the ocean, get some of those little rubber, those shoes that you put on, because sometimes it's rocky.
Yeah.
Even at my beach, like there might be rocks today, but not tomorrow. You never know what the tide's going to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
So those little water shoes that you wear in the ocean, I know you look like a dork, but they're really helpful.
There's those black socks again, Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
No dorks.
Is Puerto Vallarta going to be like your final stop? Is that your forever place?
Well,
you have somewhere else
it's
in the
my
future,
plan
you
for
think?
now. I have elderly parents in Pennsylvania, and I may have to be with them at some point. And honestly, if it wasn't for having kids and parents alive, I would be in Paris. But it's too far to fly and too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So here, this is the perfect spot for me because I literally can get to Long Beach to my granddaughter some days faster than I was able to drive from Santa Barbara to Long Beach. You know, it's a 2.5-hour flight. I fly right into either Santa Ana, Long Beach, or LAX. So that's my dog wanting to talk.
Oh, yeah. I've finally got your dog in on the podcast here. I like that. What's your dog's name?
Well, this is the other one's trapped upstairs. Ricky Ricardo is trapped upstairs because he doesn't know how to go down steps in the house. He's not allowed.
Oh, okay.
He was trained like that. So little guy's just sitting up there. But this new baby When I moved here, I hadn't had a dog in 4 or 5 years. I put my last one down. I was like, I'm not having any more pets.
Right.
I'm traveling. I go to Europe. I want to go to Thailand. Well, when I met Ricky Ricardo, he was a little cotton ball. He's a poodle Maltese. Can't stand poodles. I can't stand chihuahuas. So now I have a half poodle and I have a half chihuahua and papillon. And so I had him and it was great. But it is a headache. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, you have to have people like, if you want to go to all these places, you got to have your doggy
I got
sitters, right?
babysitters. I have my doggy sitters, but if I had to go back, I wouldn't do it again. But now I have them and I do love them. They're fabulous. Well, this one on last May 5th, the police drove past my house. I'm on the second and third levels and my door was open and they're yelling, bada, 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 bada. They know me. We know our police in my neighborhood. That's a cool thing too.
Wonderful.
We have a neighborhood watch thing on WhatsApp. It's great. So they coming by and they hold this little thing out. I thought it was a hamster. I mean, so small. And they said, look, ¿quieres? Do you want this? I'm like, wait, I'll be right there. What is it? So I run down and it's this little dog and it was brand new, wet. Umbilical cord, a little bit piece on there.
Oh my God.
They took it from a drunk guy on the beach. Some woman called because the man was on the beach and this little thing was kind of rolling around. The man was totally drunk. So the police came and took him and brought him to my house. I said, all right, I'll find somebody for him because, everybody's rescuing dogs here all the time. But I fed her every 2 hours for 3 weeks.
Oh, God.
And so she bonded with me and Ricky. And now I'm glad I have her because I can leave them alone and I don't feel so bad.
Right.
But her name is Veuve Clicquot because she was the color of my favorite champagne. Veuve Clicquot. But nobody can say that, so we call her Miss V. They're like, what? Veuve, what?
Don't make me say that.
It looks like a fox.
Well, she is so cute.
Oh,
all right. Send me a picture of that too. Come on. I want that to go right into my blog post for sure.
Okay.
Well, I got to say, you've helped everybody listening understand what it's like to live there, to live like you live, and to go out and visit these places all around you. It must be really fun. And
it's fun, and Barry, it's affordable.
Yeah.
And that's one of the important things, and that a person could live here on their retirement, or they can have a living here. A lot of people sell real estate, sell timeshare, own restaurants, work online. And I don't know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. I love it. And there's, like I say, everywhere you go, you have problems. And some guy from Chicago was on Rants and Raves saying, I would never want to be there. I'd be too scared. He's from Chicago. Okay. Fabulous.
Yeah. Be afraid, young man. Be afraid.
Very, very afraid.
Stay in Chicago.
So, yeah, I appreciate you having me. And if anybody has questions and stuff, they can always find us on Rants and Raves. I also have Puerto Vallarta Arts, Entertainment, and Life.
Okay.
Yeah, PD, Arts, Entertainment, Life, and everything that's going on is on that we have a lot of drag shows, a lot of plays. I'm in plays here.
Yeah. So where do you are you picky about where you perform? Or?
No, I've done shows at Act 2 and Boutique Theater. That's a little tiny place above Nacho Daddy's. Yeah, Act 2, Boutique Theater, and Encanto. I played piano there. Encanto's gorgeous. It's just turned a year old, and they got a little tiny theater downstairs, real classy.
I love it there.
Yeah, and then they have a piano bar right on the river, and I just love it. I love it there. It's the best ambiance as far as entertainment goes. And then Act 2 has the Encore Piano Bar, the Red Room, and the main stage. So that is full all year round, 7 nights a week. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on and just letting everybody know what's going on the ground in Puerto Vallarta, all the cool places to shop and the cool places to eat. And I just got to thank you, Barbara. I appreciate everything that you've done today.
I'm here for you. Ever get any questions, just shoot them by me because I'm the mayor.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, you are. You're the mayor and the dog catcher, too. You're both.
Yeah, the dog rescuer. Oh, Lord.
All right. Well,
so far, I haven't adopted a baby, so that's not coming.
That let me know when that happens.
Oh, God. You'll be the first to know. No, thank you.
You're the best. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you, Barry.
Now, what did I tell you guys? Barbara Ann is great. She's so much fun, and she's just, as you found out, she's a fount of information. So remember, also keep in mind that Barbara Ann sent me pictures of the places that we talked about, and they are gorgeous. And they're going to just want to make you get up and get out of town, take a weekend or a day trip. And I've got to tell you that there are those of you who stay in Puerto Vallarta for months at a time and you never leave. You know who you are. And you are going to have a really great opportunity now to get out, take one of these 1 or 2 or 3 day road trips for sure. And once you see these pictures, you're going to have the bug. I promise you. You can find them again, like I said, in the show notes at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Okay, well, that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. And until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, then please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his maps, he's got his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes as well. So, once again, listen, if you like this podcast, please take some time and subscribe to it and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And I made it easy for you to do that with each episode that I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to have a look there. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in each and every blog post, in the show notes that I create for each and every episode. So check them out if you haven't already. All right? All right. Thank you so much, Barbara and Renee. Thanks for all that wonderful information. Thanks for helping us get a look into what it's like to retire and keep really, really active in paradise. It's pretty cool. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.